Hi, Jeff Marion here. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. We're going to shift gears a little bit here. I want to talk a little bit about my journey and what I've learned over the years practicing law and being a sole practitioner, and what I've learned in terms of how to get and keep good clients. Over the years, I've learned that there are cases you just simply shouldn't take. I know. You're a sole practitioner. You're constantly in fear that that client that just walked through the door and signed up with you is the last client you're ever going to get. But sometimes, for your own health, there's cases that you just should not take. And I'm going to tell you about 5 of those cases that you definitely should never take. This series of videos usually covers personal injury law. We talk about car crashes, slip and falls, unsafe products, like this video here. Occasionally, I'll talk about a hot topic, something that's in the news, and you can check out a video like this one that'll give you more information on that. So click on the subscribe button and also click on the bell to get notifications. And if you just want to learn, and I hope that this will help you in your line of business, I hope it'll help you think about the types of customers or clients that you would like to avoid. And if it helps you reflect on that, I've done my job. So I've been practicing law for 25 years. I've spent about 20 of those as a sole practitioner. So I'm here to share my experiences with you. And I hope, even if you're not an attorney, it's something that will help you in your line of business and help you just run things better and sleep better at night, for lack of a better term. So the first case that I don't take is small claims cases. Generally speaking, the amounts in controversy are very limited. You can only recover, in some places, $3,000 and some $5,000. You still have to charge your fee. You still have to get paid for your time. The old Abe Lincoln saying, a lawyer's time and knowledge are his stock in trade. So you've got this limited recovery. You've got to get paid. It only leads to hurt feelings. When your lifeblood is that client recommending you to family and to friends, it's just hard to justify taking on something like that. And believe me, those cases, small claims, are just as passionate as if we're talking about a multi-million-dollar product liability case. That case is everything to that client, and it's everything to the other side. And there will be a lot of passion. There will be a lot of interrupting each other. Many small claims are in an informal setting. In fact, Amherst, New York, outside of Buffalo, if you've watched Judge Judy, Judge Joe Brown, that's kind of what we're getting at here in terms of the type of case or the type of format. It really doesn't lend itself to lawyers. There's a relaxed standard of evidence. You don't want lawyers constantly objecting. Funny enough, a lawyer friend of mine years ago actually ended up on Judge Judy with her case. The reason that happened is that there are stringers in virtually every courtroom from these production companies that make the shows, and they go through the filings of small claims courts and look for cases that might be interesting. And then they fly the parties in, and then they do their thing on the show. My friend had a client that didn't pay her for legal work that she performed. It was a low enough amount. She filed in small claims court, got a phone call from our producer from Judge Judy that they'd love to have her on. So she took the plane ride, she went out, she did the show, and she ended up winning her case and getting her recovery. So that's the thing, it doesn't lend itself to lawyers. In fact, this is a case that I did do in small claims court. It wasn't my case. I was sitting in the gallery waiting for my case to be called. And there was another case that involved a car mechanic shop and that the plaintiff was suing because the work hadn't been done properly and required additional repair. Well, we had lawyers on both sides, and they objected and pounded the table and interrupted each other and screamed at each other for an hour. And at the end, I'll remember this till the day I die. I remember at the end when the hearing officer said, "Anybody else got anything to add?" And both sides said no. There was thunderous applause from the gallery that they were finished. Now, I don't really want to walk out of a courtroom to applause because I was such an obnoxious jerk that everybody's happy to see the back of me. So, there are many reasons, those are just a few, not to touch small claims cases. The second type of case I generally don't take is cases involving multiple lawyers. And what I mean by that is not necessarily that the client is coming to me because of a disagreement with the current lawyer that he or she has on the case. What I'll do in that situation is I will tell the client, before I even have them in, go talk to your lawyer, tell your lawyer you're not happy, sit down with him or her and see if you can work it out. If you don't work it out, then call me and I'll sit down with you. We'll look at taking on the case. What I'll do after that, especially after I get that phone call, is I will contact that lawyer. Even if I don't know that lawyer, give the lawyer a heads up. Hey, you got a client that's not happy here. Called me shopping around. I'm sure I'm not the only call they made. So I'm not here to steal clients. It's not my thing. I wanted to give you a heads up, see if you could work it out. And usually the attorneys, not 100 times out of 100, are appreciative. If there are 2 or 3 lawyers that have handled the case before, I probably won't touch it with a barge pole, to be honest. I just can't justify that. I think it's sort of like, the problem may be on the other side of the desk and not necessarily with the attorneys. And again, then you get into splitting up fees 2 or 3 or 4 ways because these attorneys are entitled to get paid for work that they've performed. So the case may ultimately end up not being profitable. The other types of cases I don't take, the third type of case is hurt feelings cases. I get calls probably once, twice, 3 times a year where somebody slandered somebody or said something bad about somebody. The person didn't lose a job. The person doesn't really have any damages. They're just really mad and they want to get back at them and they're going to sue because everybody's suing for everything and I should get money because they've done this or said that and it hurt my feelings. Unless you've had some real psychological damage, unless you've lost a job as a result of what this person said or lost an opportunity or whatever it is, it's really just not something that's recoverable. You've got to sit the client down and say, look, I can take this, but before you take $1 out of your pocket and put it into mine, understand that you're spending dollars here to get back pennies if you even see a nickel out of this. It's not a case that I am comfortable taking because I want you to come back. My lifeblood is you telling family and friends. And now with the advent of Avvo, with Yelp, these people can go international with how much you ripped them off or how you did a bad job on your case. So that's something to be very wary of. It's cases that I simply do not take. The fourth type of case I don't take are neighbor disputes, whether they're criminal disputes, civil disputes, where you get into the neighbor does this, the other neighbor does that, then the neighbor does this in return. My solution is put your house up for sale. It's another case of spending dollars to get back pennies, trying to explain that especially if they file a harassment or an assault claim in criminal court, or if my client has had that criminal charge brought against them, the criminal justice system is ill-equipped to deal with that. The civil justice system is not necessarily helpful. So be very careful when you're dealing with disputes between neighbors. It's cases I generally avoid if I can. This is one of the major types of cases. The second I get this, I usually don't even bring the client in, and that's home improvement cases. And what I mean by that is where a contractor did shoddy work, and the cost of repairs, they had to have somebody else come in and fix everything. What I find is that there are a lot of contractors who are very good at what they do and good at their trade, but they're not great businessmen or businesswomen for that matter. Oftentimes you're dealing with somebody who's fly by night. They start one company, not even a DBA, they start a corporation, and then when they get the complaints, they fold that corporation and start another one, and you really have no way of chasing them. And even if you do get to the individual, a lot of times that person just may not have enough money to satisfy the judgment. Now, if you can imagine, the homeowner has feelings about having been screwed and is upset and had to spend more money, more time. Their house is a mess as a result, and it took longer, and all of that emotion is baked into it. And you've got to tell them up front, unless this is a very big outfit that's got insurance or there's something here, there's just no recovery. So you're going to take a fee, you're going to give them a judgment. A lot of times these contractors don't even show up to court, so you get a default judgment, and you basically hand them a piece of paper, your clients a piece of paper that they can make a paper airplane out of. They can line a bird cage with it, but they can't collect money with it, the judgment. So explaining that, well, there's also, you have to actually then try to chase the person down to enforce the judgment. It's just cases that there's no winners, there's hurt feelings, you can easily be at fault, and there are cases I just simply will not go anywhere near. Have you ever had an experience with a case that you really shouldn't have taken? And talk about your life lessons. Or if you're not a lawyer, if you had a client that you shouldn't have taken, or a job opportunity. Share all that in the comments below. I hope you enjoyed this video. Occasionally I like to share some of my experiences that I've gained over the years. Normally I do videos on personal injury law. So if you have been injured in a crash, in a fall, or by an unsafe product, contact me at the email address below or at my website, www.jeffmarionlaw.com, and I can sit down with you for free and go over your case with you. From time to time, I'll do these types of videos. I do put out new videos every week on different areas of personal injury law. So click on the subscribe button. If you liked this video or you like other videos in my series, make sure you click that like button and share those videos with people in your social media network so they can see what we're doing here. Also click on the bell. New videos come out next week. Thank you for indulging me on this, and I really hope that you gain some insight, something that helps you, even if you're not a lawyer, something that can help you in your business. And till next time, we'll see you in the next video.